Hey everybody, and welcome back to Kharak Cup number 8. We're going to jump back into the quarterfinals right here. We got a match between Descara and Catharsis. This is going to be a pretty fun one. And Catharsis is not really doing as well as he normally does in this tournament. Now he's got to play against Descara. He's probably a little bit nervous about that, to say the least. Here he is playing as the Conef. Descara going to be playing Coalition as usual. We've obviously seen him play other factions. This is clearly his main, so that's nothing surprising right there. Just make sure, yeah, okay. Just wanted to make sure I actually had that replay viewer mod installed. And it looks like Catharsis is going with the very early Sandskimmer fabrication, moving out here across with the production cruises as well. I don't know why, but I'm really drawing a blank on what he normally does, so I'm not sure if this is normal or not. To be honest with you. And I feel like that Salvager's coming out pretty late. Maybe it's just because it's a slower production time than the Coalition one. Coalition build everything faster. I don't know if you've noticed that. Based on the orientation of these Salvagers, I'd say that one of them was put onto the RUs in the beginning there, because of course all four of them spawn here. You can see three of them, or sorry, these four came in from that direction, and these four came in from this direction, so one Salvager on RUs, and you would expect it would be a tech rush. We've even seen a couple of quick drops there. You can tell based on the amount of RUs he's got. AAV fabrication is on the way. And as for Catharsis, he's not in a bad situation. Of course, he just has to make sure he's careful to get some kind of response to the AAVs before they hit home. But here he is coming in with two Sandskimmers, a blast drone. He's got another one on the way here. So there is some potential for mucking about. We'll just put it that way. It's gonna go after these second base Salvagers. That's obviously the move that you generally want to do in this scenario. Blast drone could be used on Salvagers here, but it's not going to kill any of them. But look at that, he's actually made Descara split, even though there's not two of them here, which I think is really cool, actually. AV fabrication is finished, though, so I expect that we're going to see AVs come out just basically right now, and Descara's not really going to be very scared about this anymore. And he has rotated his carrier, so they are going to come out that way, which is better for him, obviously. Here's that second blast drone, and now this is where Descara would like to not, have his Salvagers all together, but he already did, which is sort of funny. The AAV here, though, is definitely going to shut this down because of that suppression ability. And so I don't think we should see anything really redonkulous go on here, though. Descara ought to be careful, save this LAB. He is going to make it out of there. Two blast drones run off, maybe they can be used another day. But honestly, I feel like Catharsis has done the damage he wanted to do. And do you see how long it took for Descara to get back mining off of his base there? He's probably pretty happy with that. Even if he wasn't able to get those two blast drone hits off, and assault ship fabrication being on the way here, he's going to be fine in terms of defending this AAV rush. I want to check his resources as well. He's probably saving up for refinery mode. That would have to be my guess. That'd be my hope too, because otherwise he's going to start falling behind eventually. But and I mean, you can get that refinery mode tech, I believe, before. Oh, he doesn't have fleet cap 45 yet. Yeah, he's going to go for that one. I was going to say, you can go refinery mode before fleet cap, but it's really dangerous because then if your opponent shows up and you're not ready for him, you can't actually, build any units. He's going to go for fleet cap 45, I think that's probably the right move, and then save up to refinery mode and then start making the assault ships, and you should still be fine. I don't think you're going to lose Salvagers to these boys. I can't remember their name now. AAVs, right. Yeah, you shouldn't lose any Salvagers to them if you make the assault ships after getting refinery mode, so. Oh, is this Sandskimmer going to make it out? Yeah, he's fine, actually. Look at that. Last one's popping back out here. Any moment that, Descara leaves his base untouched, you got to imagine Catharsis is going to be in there blowing stuff up. Or untouched. Unprotected is what I mean. Just kind of like the same way that he uses air units, you know what I mean? Like, you've got air coverage on the field, and yet still he's finding some way to use them against you, you know what I mean? Oh, refinery mode was cancelled to force out an assault ship and just now being re-researched. That's actually going to slow him down quite a bit. Does anyone know what the build time for support cruiser is? I can't really remember, but it's definitely less than refinery mode tech. So that actually is going to slow him down a little bit. That better actually be true. I think it is. Interceptor fabrication is already on the way, mind you. And that's obviously, a pretty expected choice right here, but because, I mean, it's Catharsis, we already know he's an air player, and here is with assault ships. I don't know, though, I like the idea of I like the idea of getting another production cruiser instead and going for like railgun fabrication, but we'll have to see how it works out for him. Descara doing his best to try to split the damage across multiple AAVs right there, trying not to bunch up and get both of them attacking at the same time, but it's still, you know, varying success, I would say. Unfortunately, Catharsis is going to lose a salvager right here. I don't think he'll lose another one, though, but it could maybe be close. No, it's not even going to be close. But I'd say that's a very effective hold-off of that initial attack. And his base runner's still alive. In fact, hasn't taken any damage at all, which is kind of surprising, because I do remember seeing a unit chasing it over there. He didn't make a new one, did he? That's actually very possible. I don't know, I wasn't really watching, so it's hard to say. Blaster's kind of getting caught out by this LAV, and that's always a bit of a tricky scenario, but there's no boost on this LAV, so it's not going to be able to throw itself at them and kill itself, which is kind of what the LAV wants to do here, obviously. You know, trading even one Blaster for an LAV is not a good trade, let alone two. And that can often happen if you're not careful. Second support cruiser is already out here. That's actually really fast. And you know, this is something Descara is very well known for, I think, is that he gets onto his bases like crazy quick. You need to be ready for him. I don't know if Catharsis is going to be. And that's kind of the advantage you have when you're the attacker, because if you look at Catharsis' view, right? There could, dang it. Well, you'll just have to imagine. There could be like a whole bunch of units, there could be railguns, whatever, coming out over here. You wouldn't know. You need to be ready for whatever comes at you. But for Descara, you know that you're the one who's on the attack, so it's safe for you to expand, more or less. Catharsis is coming out with some air units here, though, so he will be able to, do something, you know, a thing or two about this. He can attack the eco, probably at this location. Salvager's the most bunched up. He's gonna see it. And actually, I did notice Catharsis already has gotten missile battery fabrication. I think he just knows his opponent well enough. He's sure he needs that. Gonna go after the support cruiser here, and I wonder actually if the interceptors have the damage on it. I noticed this guy's getting really low. He popped the smoke, of course, but still taking a lot of damage right there. The missile battery is on the queue. And with the healing beams on the carrier there, I don't think this is going to go down, at least not before that missile battery is out. Oh, this could be close. Oh, look how close, 140 health on that thing right there. So Descara's very quick movement to get him getting healed by this carrier did indeed save him. And that's going to be very nice for Descara, probably a little frustrating for Catharsis. AAV finds the blast drones here, and that's a nice pickup. Especially because I really didn't think this unit was going to get any value either, you know, any other way. One of them already getting picked out, and actually the assault ships kind of forgot about him, so they're going to let him move away a little bit here. He's going to try to make an escape. I don't think he'll make it, but that's obviously not bad for Descara. Missile battery's out, so we shouldn't see any more, we shouldn't really see any more damage come out on this support cruiser right here. Well, then again, I mean, if you're Catharsis, isn't it worth it, I think, to shut down one of his mining bases for, like, a couple of interceptors? I think it probably is. And you know you don't need many more shots on this thing. But, I mean, there are 2 missile batteries, though. I don't think it'd be a good move. We'll have to see if he tries to go for it or not. Air units are getting launched, by the way. We look over at this fight right here. Once again, Descara doing a very good job splitting up all of his guys right there. Not going to take any of that area of effect damage, but you can see assault ships are still just, you know, they're very good units. When it comes to like fighting AAVs. Descara, though, doing an excellent job. In fact, oh yeah, air unit's gonna come and snipe that one. I would move this guy into the smoke so that he can't get attacked, you know what I mean? Kind of like use your opponent's smoke against him. Yeah, I think you can see like what happens to assault ships. They don't do damage against armor. So actually, they did not even manage to get a single assault ship killed over there. I mean AAVs, they don't do any damage to armor. Assault ships do, is the thing. Because they do 24 damage per shot. The assault ship, like the AAV only does 11 or something. Yeah, 11. So by the time these guys have, you know, 10 armor, like they're doing 1 damage per shot. It's not very much. It is going to be railgun fabrication for Descara. And he has a second support cruiser to heal that first one. That's what he chose to do over there. Or maybe it was the carrier, I couldn't quite see. There's a little bit of disarray, I'd say, in his economy, but not too much, and he's going to be on 3 bases just, before too long. I'm kind of amazed that he just doesn't really seem to have any units out on the field, and I think that's because he was able to get away with quite an aggressive eco strategy. That might come to bite him just a little bit over here, as he does get attacked on this third base location, but he can smoke and buy himself a little bit of time, and railguns are on the way, so... And you can see he knows the real target for Catharsis is not this AAV, it's clearly this base right here. He knows what to keep smoked and win. And he can keep that smoke for days, it looks like. Air units starting to be rather numerous, as we would expect from Catharsis. We wouldn't expect anything else. Support cruiser anti-air, still no sign of that, which means that these interceptors actually have quite a window here. They could actually probably kill the support cruiser. He might get a bit spooked by that missile battery, but he can definitely do this. Yep, and he goes. And you can see that's like half the health already. This attack can get shut down, but this one here being very effective, and there goes the support cruiser. That's excellent. That's probably going to prompt Descara to get support cruiser anti-air, I would have thought. And actually, there's a chance that some salvagers could go down here, but I don't think they will. The mortar could be used, but I mean, it doesn't really do anything, so I don't think it'll make much difference either way. Like, you see how much damage that did? Not very much. But that pickup of that support cruiser is huge. And I feel like Descara's eco has been slightly behind this whole time, but... Or sorry, Catharsis' eco has been slightly behind this whole time, but Descara has had to do so much more maintenance on his because it keeps getting attacked left and right that I think both players really have basically evened out here. That's really nice to see from Catharsis. I'm quite enjoying that. Bunch of Sandskimmers coming out now, and I think that's got to be a response to the railguns. Maybe also trying not to make assault ships so that he can save the RUs for air units and for siege, and he does have a siege cruiser about to pop out. Of course, though, that does mean there's no upgrades for these people, so they're a little weak, but... And I think, yeah, actually it's armor 3 finish for these railguns here, so if Catharsis wants to kill any railguns, he's really going to have to upgrade these things, but we'll have to see if he chooses to do that or not at all. He might honestly be using them for something else. Once again, LAV finds the blast drones, and those things have been looking for it for so long, but I don't think they're going to get like, oh, well, it all depends if this one gets killed or not. We could see another little mini eco wipe. Oh my gosh, this is really close, actually. It got through! It got through! And 2 salvagers going to go down here. Honestly, I think the support cruiser probably could have killed right there. Sorry I wasn't really watching what was going on over here, but I think the air units are getting involved in this fight, trying to kill off the AAVs. Sandskimmer's no damage upgrades, of course not able to attack these AAVs really at all effectively, but they are going to get that artifact taken out. But it was still a nice pickup for Descara because he stopped his opponent from picking it up, and that's obviously the most natural one for him to get. Siege is out. The probe sees it, but siege cruisers of course have anti-air because, you know, why not? It's actually always been a little odd to me, but yeah, they do have a little bit of anti-air, so it takes out the probe. Support cruiser anti-air is on the way, so Descara does not want to get hit by that again. He's got 3 missile batteries now. Not 1, not 2, 3. Which is, you know, 3 more than you normally see, so that's pretty cool, actually. Actually, a base runner turret got set up over here. And that could really hurt, Catharsis if he's planning on pushing out here. He's also got this angle pretty much covered because of because of his carrier. Got it covered from those Sandskimmers. Nice barrage gonna come down here, does a lot of damage, finds the turret and the railguns. Probably won't score any kills on them. Well, I shouldn't speak too soon. Yeah, it is gonna get 1. And it does take out the turret as well. But yeah, it definitely damaged that other one quite a lot. It did a little bit of damage to this one too. That artifact gets taken out by Catharsis, but that's not really such a big deal. The thing was on very low health anyway, and as perhaps you remember, you can't actually heal. You can't actually heal Conaf base runners. It's impossible. Those interceptors looking mighty quick, but they really have nowhere to go that's not covered. Of course, support cruiser anti-air is insanely good. There's a whole lot of missile batteries out on the field too. But, you know, leave it to Catharsis to find the one spot that he can attack, and I imagine he'll realize it's here. He's going to go for 1 pass first and discover that there's anti-air in the area. I think he should just go for it, though. Yeah, and he's going to... You know, for the price of 1 interceptor, that's definitely worth it. So I guess I stand corrected. There definitely was an ability to attack there, and then there you go. That's what I was motioning at earlier. He does find the railguns that are exposed. Might as well get that probe on the exit, too. That'd be kind of a nice pickup, I suppose. Yep, there you go. And probably just gonna dock from here. I gotta say, Catharsis, as usual, doing very well with those areas, finding, you know, a place where he can attack, finding some value out of them. A couple salvagers starting to go down here, so now this is a little bit of revenge for Descara, who's actually lost 2 support cruisers, very nearly lost a 3rd earlier. This is definitely what Descara wants to be doing, because, like, I'm kind of amazed, honestly, that they've seemed so even this whole time, because Descara has lost so much of that kind of stuff. He definitely needs to be getting back in his opponent that way, or else eventually that's going to stack up. And Catharsis has gotten railgun fabrication, he's got heavy railguns on the way. And that's really big, I think. The siege cruisers totally covered him for AAVs. No worries about that, he's not going to have to worry about it at all. Really, his only problem is that siege is somewhat countered by railguns, and when you get enough siege cruisers that they can do the barrage, like, on the same target, you can kind of deal with them, but it's tricky, you know what I mean? But, you know, it's, how do I say, like, if you can just get heavy railguns of your own to counter this and then keep making siege out of the carrier, you know, you've got yourself covered. You're not gonna run into that same kind of problem. I'm wondering how much power Descara has. Looks like he's going up to reserve 4, and he does have 2 artifacts, so he's got quite a lot. The thing is, like, siege cruisers are good, obviously, but they do basically no damage to carriers when you power up their armor significantly. That's what he's going to do, yeah, up to power 4. Which is where it gets to like 100 armor and it doesn't take damage, it really doesn't. But still though, he took out about half the health of that carrier, and that's a big deal, you know. Descara's gonna have to get this thing healed up. He's had to replace so many support cruisers, but now here he's making another one. These players actually also getting close to mining out their mains, which is always kind of a big deal. Especially if you keep having to replace these CU heavy units, that gets harder and harder the later on in the game you get, since the main with the 2 CUs gets mined out eventually. AV's going for a bit of a backstab here, and there is a heavy railgun to counter them, but I think the air is going to have to be launched against this, because there's only one railgun here. Oh, and it's getting dangerous to coast. He needs to back this one away. If I were the AAVs here, after killing the salvager, I'd go for that railgun. They don't even care, they're just gonna go for more salvagers. Here comes the air to come smite this down. And I'm actually wondering if the air does damage to friendly units there. They kind of look like it to me. Why are this air units not attacking? Maybe they ran out of ammo, I don't know. Like, air doesn't get stopped by smoke, I don't know if you knew that, but that's kind of important to know. There's a logistics module over here. And actually that's one that Descara is using, which is pretty funny. But it's over the hill. It's a nervous day for everyone in this logistics module, like, are they gonna kill us, or? You can see they're all pointing at it. Look at this. There we go. I feel like I'm really zoomed in for some reason. Yeah, maybe not. Seems to have gotten to a bit of a standoffish state here. Has Descara gone for another tech choice? No, he hasn't. But he's getting power reserve 5. And you know what that means. You've all watched enough Garmulator games to know exactly what that means. And when Power Reserve 4 finished, he got enough to power up the armor all the way. So, he's also self-healing, actually. That's important to note. Khan's Siege, I don't believe gets killed in one hit by a cruise missile. I don't think so. But it's probably really close, if not. Main base is beginning to be mined out, like I said. I think the RU heavy units kind of get a bit more valuable at this stage of the game because it's much easier to remake them. You know? Pretty good barrage is going to find one of the missile batteries, take that one out. And missile batteries are very expensive too, you know. A little fight going on in 2 locations here, but it looks like Descara is going to be able to extract here. His opponent trying to push up with the assault ships, but those are going to get repelled by the carrier. And smoke even being used by the AVs to close the distance. I think they can get the kills right here. There is armor on those railguns, but actually railgun armor 3 just finished. Hey, look at that. Pretty good timing for Catharsis, but I still don't think it's going to matter. Those ones are going to go down. despite no upgrades on those light attack vehicles. Now another extraction is going to go down meanwhile for Catharsis. And these railguns not really being able to push in at all, so they're definitely not going to be able to stop that, but there is a second one on the way for Descara as well. And that bodes ill for Catharsis. It means he's... Oh! No, is he going to stop it? Yes, he's going to stop the artifact. Now that's huge, because that means they're going to be even still. And I really think if Descara had gotten that one, that would have been kind of like the first really decisive advantage we'd seen this game. Seems like both players right now in kind of a position where their opponent can't really push particularly well, but it might be changing right here, but Descara going to choose to smoke his carry because of those railguns up on the high ground. That is why we call this, you know, like the Death Valley. Once again, little backstab going to be attempted by AVs, and have you noticed, like, this game, the whole name of the game has been, like, attack on the ring, you know what I mean? Little backstabs even with air, but just with all kinds of weapons. And very late game, assault railguns kind of from Catharsis, but it makes sense based on how many AVs he's seen, I think. Pretty good barrage is going to come down. I think they'll catch these LAVs. But also put a bit of damage on the carrier, put a bit of damage on the sport cruiser, just slow your opponent down even a little bit more. And we know how much he's been slowed down already, but here comes that cruise missile, so he needs to be backing away immediately. Ooh. Okay, so apparently Catharsis will get killed by a cruise missile. And suddenly with the Kana siege gone, you start wondering what Catharsis has. I didn't even realize that was going to happen. That feels cruel to me, because I mean, you know how much I hate cruise missiles. And now it's only the railgun force left, and they will be on the high ground, but I don't think they're going to be able to take this fight. There's just no way. Numbers going quite significantly into Descara's favor. Although he's in a bit of an odd setup right here, where kind of half of his units aren't attacking, but it's not even going to matter, look at that. And he has so much range on that carrier too. Cruise missile is going to come in from the Con-F carrier, trying to put some hurt down on this carrier, and as you can see, it really works. They do a lot of damage. But there's a significant number of railguns right here. And Catharsis is trying to rebuild his army of siege. Obviously the right move, but it's not going to be easy. It'll take a lot of time, take a lot of money. I'm not sure if he's got either one of those things. And you know, to be fair, I think that's actually the purpose why things like cruise missiles and siege cruises and whatever, no sorry, why cruise missiles exist is sort of to end these kind of like intractable stalemate situations like we were just in. Because that could have gone on for a long time right there. Units like siege cruisers and like railguns that can get on high ground really tend to, they tend to slow games like this down. They tend to make it a little bit more, you know, difficult to just push in and win, so the cruise missile can kind of be used to break the line there, but I just feel like that's so, you know, like, oh, you lose now, you know what I mean? Like, I just don't know how I feel about it, you know what I mean? I think that should come as a surprise to nobody, actually. I've been pretty vocal about how I feel about cruise missiles. There goes base runner number 2. Base runner number 3 ought to be taken out as well here because Catharsis really cannot afford to allow his opponent to get ahead in that way. Oh, but the railguns are very exposed. Maybe that's a better target here. Yeah, see, I think he ought to stop this extraction here. And if I were Catharsis, this base is mined out. I would use the support cruiser as anti-air force. So I would like have it drop down an anti-air turret and then like run away. And then have the support cruiser come up, and then them together can like go off this way and extract. Anyhow, you know what time it is, right? And I'm seeing some good targets. Just like right there would be really powerful, obviously. I mean, he might not even need it though, because I think he's kind of going to kill off this siege cruiser without it. So honestly, you know, maybe using it against the Con-F carrier would not be a bad move right here. He doesn't have the money for it anymore. Never mind. Air gonna be launched, I gotta imagine, to stop that base runner. Stop that soon! Oh, okay, it looked like the siege cruiser was shooting its carrier right there. I was like, what's going on here? No, air actually gonna be used over here in the main offensive to try and dump damage on the coalition carrier and see if he can get the kill on it. And that kind of makes sense, I suppose, because I think that's kind of the only way Catharsis could still win right here. But, yeah, I know, he knows when he's had enough, he's going to choose to GGR right here. I mean, there are 3 support cruisers here doing anti-air, a whole bunch of railguns. That looked pretty much like the end to me. Yeah, so I mean, what ended that game? It had to be that cruise missile, right? That was one of the most influential cruise missiles I've ever seen. Because the armies both looked very even, very standoffish, and then suddenly it's like, no, your army's gone, by the way. And, you know, to be fair, that is just one of the risks you take when you have, like, a cruiser-heavy, you know, build, but I still just kind of feel like it shouldn't be able to end that way. Catharsis was playing really well, and the amount of backstabs in that game is something that I think we could all try to emulate a little bit better. Well done, I would say. Well done. Oh, and I just clicked off the title screen, but maybe you noticed, I was talking earlier about how it seemed like their economies were actually roughly even. If you look at the number of stuff mined there, the RUs were a bit higher for Descara because he mined RUs in the beginning, and the CUs were higher for Catharsis, but other than that, they were like dead even, you know what I mean? So yeah, it really is true. Catharsis was slower onto the third base, but because of his amount of backstabbing that he was able to do, he really actually made that look really good. And, you know, that's what happens when you go for units instead of eco, right? You see a lot of players who do that, and then they don't do anything with those units, and, you know, they just fall behind. It's quite natural, but players like Descara, players like Catharsis, they also know how to play with momentum, playing with, you know, less eco but more units, and that's exactly how you're supposed to do it. This time we got 4 on CUs from Descara. I'm going to suggest it's probably going to be a Sport Cruiser first opening. Straight into LAVs right here, though, and that's a big investment, so probably not going to be so. We will see what he's going for here. I've just kind of fallen asleep, I don't know. Let's see. What is Catharsis going for, meanwhile? Looks like, ooh, okay, it's going to PC. He might be going for a bit of a rush right here. I'm going to check the resources. I didn't catch, you know, if he was mining RUs at first. Doesn't look like it, though, does it? And straight into Sandskimmer Fabrication. So he might be going for, like, a bit of a Sandskimmer rush. Descara's been beaten by these before. Perhaps you remember that. I'm referring to myself. Yes. Reckitt's opened up right here, right onto CUs again. So maybe it is actually like a LAV heavy build. I'm not totally familiar with what he's going to try to do with this, but I imagine the Sport Cruiser is going to be coming out pretty soon off the back of this. He could go for AV Fabrication at the moment, actually, but we'll see. You see the way he turns his carrier? I can never get it to do that. I don't know why, but like it's really hard to get the Coalition carrier to turn. I often refer to it as like a washing machine carrier because of the way that it just like is so awkward to handle it. So what's Catharsis going to do with his double production cruiser right here? So he is making Sandskimmers, as you can see, off of both of them. But I imagine we're going to see a tech choice rather soon from him. Normally you don't just go for a straight Sandskimmer rush. Normally the idea is to mix in like either rails or assault ships or something like that. Based on the number of RUs, I'd say that's going to be railguns, because they, of course, take 200 RUs to research. Gonna click on that, maybe. No, gonna go for more Sandskimmers and then get their armor upgrade. So he's actually just gonna do this, like, all in Sandskimmers. That's what I'm gonna get. And Descara is going for rails first. And that could be a little bit dangerous here, but I imagine he's gonna find a way to hold it off. Putting down a turret right here up in this high ground position. And getting Power Reserve 1 tells me he's going to go for perhaps some carrier aggression, either that or he's going to play very defensive. But the reason I'm thinking this is because this is a build he's very familiar with, like the one-base carrier aggression build, and you get railguns to do that. He's already got 1 Power Reserve finished. So that could be his plan here. We're just going to have to see, but if that's the case, it'll be a little tough for Catharsis to deal with, unless he gets railguns, but there you go. He's researching that now. And I think 2 production cruisers with railguns, that should be enough to hold this off. But it's hard to say. So, Descara then, he has the option right now, the very distinct option, like I can push, or I can hold back and just play eco. I think either one of them will have the advantage, right? That's kind of the thought here, probably. But there are a lot of Sandskimmers, and they do have that upgrade, and if they can get up on this hill, if they can get on top of these LAVs, which they're kind of there... no, actually, only a couple of them are shooting, so maybe not. But, I mean, you know, if these Sandskimmers can get up over the LAVs, can they can like kind of overcome them, then maybe these railguns are vulnerable is the idea. Carrier's going to move in to help, even though that is taking him off that second base. He's fine though, he knows his opponent can't be on 2 bases while he's doing this kind of thing. So he's okay to play a little bit more defensively here. Turret is in a very nice position, by the way. Not only is it benefiting from high ground here, but it also is able to cover this flank and this one right here, which is very important for him. And already having railguns, you know, Catharsis perhaps will think like, well, it doesn't look like I can really get much done here, does it? Descara floating quite a lot here. I mean, I think it would be good for him to, yeah, get that upgrade there. Perhaps even a little bit earlier, but, you know. But that's the past, friends. Honestly, if I were Descara, I would not even be that opposed to making another turret here just to secure this base. Because once you get 2 turrets up, it's just like, yeah, Sandscreamers are not going to be able to push in here. Maybe you saw that video of me trying to do the 1v3. That's what I did in the early game, and it worked very well. Yep, there you go, another turret going to come down. And the Sandscreamers want to jump right on top of that one. And they're going to, but there's a support cruiser on top of it, and as they come over this hill... No, they took it out. They took it out with only 1 loss. So that's actually very clean. Very well done by Catharsis, and perhaps that means it would have been better to put that second turret up there on the same position. Because that is just kind of wasted CUs, which is pretty sad for Descara, and it's kind of sad for me too, because I wanted to see, you know, like the double turret play right there. Yeah, LAV's going to try to push in once again, but it's still very, very dangerous, very difficult. And Catharsis kind of beginning to win the railgun war here too. This guy is up on high ground, and he can't really fight him particularly well. And Descara's units also have just kind of become pacifists. They don't really want to shoot. They're like, step away or I'll have to shoot you. And like, no. And they're like, I'll have to shoot you. And they're like, all right, do it then. They're like, well, I'll shoot you. And like, just shoot, dude. Are you gonna shoot me or not? That often happens with railguns, and it's such a tense situation in like the railgun war that it's always so annoying. It's like, please, could you do something right, fans? Anyway, Mag Accelerator going to get research right now, and that tells me that Descara is a little bit worried about this fight here. Normally he tries to delay that for a little bit longer, so... But with the Sandscreamer force from Catharsis essentially neutralized, I don't think he's going to be able to continue this push. He's going to go for it though, but the longer this goes on, the more army value comparatively Descara is going to have. That turret is very cheap and it does quite a lot. Oh my gosh! Yeah, Catharsis just quit. Alright, well, it looks like Descara is going to win 2-0. I honestly think that Catharsis could have fallen back and gone for an eco-feint here, but perhaps he was just feeling like, man, this is just not going my way. He already beat game 1 in such a tilting fashion, I'm just going to be done with it and call it a day for the tournament. That could very well be the case. But at any rate, that is what's going to happen. And Descara I could not say his name. And Descara is going to win 2-0. I'd like to point out, by the way, he's still undefeated, actually, in this tournament. And game 1 of this series looked like it could have been close, but yeah, he's not lost a game just yet. So clearly showing up as the dominant player in this tournament. Well played to Catharsis, well played to Descara. We'll go ahead and cast another game from the quarters now.